you know.
Thank
So
you.
I'll give you some great ideas. At the end of the day, we're all part of this revaluation of wealth that's coming, and a lot of us are probably not going to need the money, but it's okay. Right? This is sort of like sexy. We get to sort of take down the medical industry in a very, very nice way. And once the writing's on the wall, I think there'll be literally conservatively people waiting 5 or 6 months, Helen, to come see you because there's no chairs available. You
So
know,
it's funny you say that, Mel, because I've had members come and tell me. I had one member that came the other day and said, Helen, I want to tell you a dream I had. So we would like to give all of your listeners who live locally a discount, and it's Mel Carmine 40. So
okay,
using that discount code, they will get 40% off, and they can try either a night session, day session, or a remote session.
awesome. That's great. Now, I wanted to ask you another question. Well, good afternoon, folks. We got Helen West. Helen West happens to be an EE Center owner this is in Narco, California. The name of her website is ascended-wellness.com. She's relatively new. She's at this for only 4 months. I'm sure you got to have some miracle stories. I know we have some miracle stories down here in Cape Canaveral. Why don't you tell us, how did you come across this whole thing and what possessed you to get into this business?
Thank you so much, Mel, for having me today. Well, what possessed me was that I nearly died. I laugh about it now, but it wasn't a laughing matter then. So back in December of 2020, like with so many, people, I ended up getting COVID. I ended up being hospitalized, and I almost didn't make it out. And it was through a series of fortunate, unfortunate circumstances that I was released from the hospital because I wasn't supposed to have been. But I believe that if I was, we wouldn't be speaking today. So after I was released, I was tied to an oxygen machine for about 3 or 4 months, couldn't breathe on my own, going in and out of the hospital. And oh my gosh, what my family went through. At any rate, when I was finally able to breathe on my own without a machine, I was told at that time that I needed heart surgery and that I would be on medication for the rest of my life. And I just refused. Um, to say that I had subpar care when I was in the hospital is being so gracious. But I have to say, in all honesty, there was a nurse that literally saved my life. Her name is Marina. I will never forget her. So, I'm not saying everyone's bad or everyone's good. There are angels walking on this planet for sure. And she saved my life when I was hospitalized. Not, well, okay, she did retire, so I can say this, not following protocols, and just she saved my life. But after I was out and after I was able to breathe on my own, that's when I started my journey of seeking alternative ways to heal, because I didn't want to end up back in the hospital, and I didn't want to go through surgery. I didn't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. And about a year and a half into that journey is when I discovered the EE system. And now I'd like to tell you what happened when I did my first overnight, my very first exposure to EE system. But I want to preface it by saying not everyone has these kinds of results. So with that said, I didn't know anything about it, but I was literally trying everything. You name it, I have tried it. And so when I was told about it, I went in, did an overnight session by myself. I almost walked out of there 3 times because I was there by myself. I didn't, really like it. And anyway, but I stuck it out and I slept horribly. But the next night, for the first time in probably 10 years, Mel, I slept through the night for the first time in probably a decade. And I don't mean to get too personal or gross or whatever, but this is a wellness, physical, and other healing, kind of an interview, I think. So one of the other issues that I had prior to me being sick and being hospitalized is I constantly had to use the restroom throughout the day, and I'd be up, 4, 5, 6 times a night. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't sleep well, but then I just didn't sleep well. Well, again, the second night, I slept through the night, didn't have to use the restroom. And about 6 months after my first EE system session, I continued to do reflexology because I literally just bought like, a big package of reflexology just before I learned about the EE system.
Right.
So as I was going through that, I found out that I had severe inflammation in the bladder that was causing the constant trips to the restroom. That was alleviated immediately and permanently with one overnight EE system session. The other thing that was alleviated, probably related to that, was the fact that I was able to sleep. And as you know, sleep is so healing. And if you're not getting sleep, you're just not going to heal. So it was after that, and I saw miracle after miracle after miracle among my friends and family. I mean, things that are not supposed to be reversible or curable, we're reversing, we're curing. So my husband and I put everything we had and then some to open the center in Norco, because everyone deserves to heal without harm, without medication, in a safe way.
Absolutely. And so you saw the interview. I guess somebody sent you Jason Shirka's interview, just like they sent it to me. And then we spread it around like chicken pox on steroids.
Oh, yes.
The world. And then 800,000 people around the world saw it. And then 70,000 people said, hey, I want in. I want
That was me. Yeah, I was one of those 70,000.
Excellent. So that's what happened to you, because that's what happened to me too. Because my mom, again, these are not medical devices. These are not devices that heal you. It's the body that heals the body.
Exactly.
You break your arm, you go to the doctor, he resets it, puts it in a cast, but then it's your body that's at home healing that arm.
Yes.
So obviously, if you're in our center, it will probably take 1/3 the amount of time, right? But it's the body that heals the body. So these are not medical devices. You want to put that out there immediately. But my mom was able to overcome emphysema. She had a lump over here that we believe started with that letter C. And we had emphysema, fibromyalgia, epilepsy attacks for, literally that lasted quite a long time, 5-6 hours. And after 2 months of being in the system every day, gone. No more medication. Yeah. And the doctors were all going to her, because she lives in assisted living. All the doctors are going to her room saying, what did you do? They didn't realize that, what the hell she was doing. And they were asking a lot of questions. I'm sure you got a lot of, stories that came through your center. Why don't we go there? Why don't you tell us about a few of the miracles that are happening in the last 4 months since you've been in business, of people that have come to you and say, hey, I used to have this. I no longer have this.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So there's this one gentleman that came in. He was kind of dragged in by his wife, if you will. Wasn't really happy the first time. And he went in, and of course I didn't know his story, when he first came. And he became an avid, person, that came in, frequently, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, doing 2-3 sessions at a time. After about a month and a half or so, he basically told me that he had, prior to coming, he had what they would consider a widowmaker heart attack, because most people don't survive it, but he survived it. He wasn't able to drive on his own, and the doctors told him, you'll never drive on your own. Your wife will always have to care for you and things like that. So in about 6 weeks, he was driving himself, and he was on 7 or 8 different kinds of prescription medication. He was on none of them, and he continues to come this day because he's lost so much weight through his sickness and everything like that. So he's gaining health and weight, and it's not just about reversing sickness now. It's become, for him, it's about becoming more having more vitality and energy and becoming healthy now versus trying to get rid of a disease.
Sure. Are you a 24-hour center? Are you pet friendly? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so we are. We have day sessions that are 2 hours each per session. Most of our members do 2 to 3 back-to-back. We do overnight sessions. We do offer pets, but it's not every day. So they're only on specific days. And we are closed 1 day a week, which is on Tuesdays.
Okay.
And we also offer remote sessions as well.
Do you allow a certain size of pets? What's the maximum? Let's say if I want to bring in my Great Dane, am I allowed to bring in a Great Dane?
We've never had a dog that big. So, we're 4 months new. So every time something new comes up, we're, deciding on the spot, well, how do we handle this? We try to be as accommodating to everyone because, my personal thing is I love, because I have my own fur babies as well as regular babies. And it's when the pets heal that really touch my heart. So if you were to come and say, hey, I have a Great Dane, we would do everything we could to accommodate you, because if your dog needs healing, he needs healing, or she.
Yeah. How long do you think it's going to take before these systems are going to be world renowned as far as the knowledge base, or people understand what we understand, what you understand, what this technology allows the body to do, before there is going to be a 5-6 months waiting period? How long do you think that that's going to take going down the road?
If I had to give my intuitive answer with that, I would say I think we're looking at about 6 months.
6 months
And
to
I say, I'm sorry?
months to a year?
Yes. And the reason why I say that is because I don't have time anymore to really pay attention to what's happening in the world, because, everything that's happening on the world stage. But everything that no longer serves us is crumbling, and it's surfacing, and it is being, it's leaving, because we cannot stay this way. And the truth about the, just what's happened to us medically and things like that, is surfacing. So I do believe that, more and more people, unfortunately, through a lot of devastation, are learning, some people the hard way, what has been done to us. And I believe that, it's going to come quick. And, a message that I have to all the EE system centers, like yourself, Mel, is just brace yourself, in the same way that TLS informed Dr. Sandra Rose Michael 10 plus years ago. Get ready, because there will come a day when your systems will be needed, and it's going to be spread across the world very, very quickly, which is what happened in the last year and a half. I believe that will also happen to all of the EE system centers worldwide, in terms of people now flooding in as well.
We're down here in Cape Canaveral. If there are people in Cape Canaveral, for example, that know anybody in Narco, California, they should be sending them to, Helen over at ascended-wellness.com, and vice versa. If there are people in Narco, California that know people in our area, I don't know, how many people do you think need healing besides everybody, right? So you should send them to us. This becomes a network. You folks out there become the digital soldier, in the sense that we could literally take over the world. This is like a really nice way to sort of push the medical industry side. So you guys have failed us. Now it's our turn to shine. There's a new sheriff in town. So move over and let, Mel and Helen take over, right? So, that's where I'm at. What do you think about that logic?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, we have, in the short period that we've been open, we have people that come. I mean, they travel. They don't need to travel to come to my center. They come from a couple of counties over. And when I find out where they're from, I always tell them, there are centers closer to you. And, we have a couple of things happening. People will go to whatever's most convenient, which is the closest center to them. But then you have people, even knowing that there are centers closer to them, they come to a particular center because they resonate with you. So, I'm sure you're seeing that as well. People might be bypassing, driving by past other centers to come to you because they resonate with you, Mel. So
Well,
there's that, but I do tell everyone, there are centers closer to you.
yeah. So if I could give a word of advice out there to all the EE Center owners, I'll give you a great marketing idea. I've been told before that I'm sort of like a marketing genius, and I don't know if that's a stretch as well, but I would have every single owner of a center start a YouTube channel, and locally, and start to interview all the local business owners, like yoga masters and Pilates and gym owners and acupuncturists, and chiropractor, and they interview you, and you start to cross promote, cross pollinate, and also simultaneously, you guys should be promoting each other. You're in different states anyway, and there's last time we checked, there's still 8 billion people in the world. There's enough to go around. You know, there's so much enough to choke a horse. So you guys should be interviewing each other as well and starting your own channels. That is the lifeblood of the business, I think. And you can't have enough podcasts. You should have a minimum 1-2 podcasts every single week. Every owner of every EE center should start a podcast. That's where my mind is at. I think that's a pretty good idea.
I just made a note to do that.
You know, so I'll give you some great ideas. At the end of the day, we're all part of this revaluation of wealth that's coming. And, a lot of us are probably not going to need the money, but it's okay. Right? This is sort of like sexy. We get to sort of take down the medical industry in a very, very nice way. And, once the writing's on the wall, I think there'll be literally conservatively people waiting 5 or 6 months, Helen, to come see you because there's no chairs available.
So it's funny you say that, Mel, because I've had members come and tell me. So I had one member that came the other day and said, Helen, I want to tell you a dream I had, and it was so real. It seemed so real. I had a dream that I went online and I went to go make a reservation to come in, and you were backlogged 3 months. Mm-hmm. So I called you and said, can I just come? Even if I just sit on the floor, can I come? And then I think it was in a span of like the same week, another member came and said, Helen, I know you guys, just opened up, but I just get the sense that you're going to be so busy. I know you're hiring staff, but I think you're going to need volunteers on top of what you're doing. So if you need volunteers, I'm here because I know you're going to be so busy. I sense it. Yes. So you're absolutely right. This is exactly what is beginning to happen already.
Yeah, oh, believe me. I think my next place, I'm gonna make it sort of like an army barracks with like army beds, bunk beds, where we can really, because the more bodies in the room, that was one of my original questions to Dr. Sandra. So because I'm a New York, New Jersey kid, okay, and I thought because there's more people in the room that they're stealing my energy, I'm getting lesser of an effect. And she said, no. She goes, you're getting more of an effect because the bodies are made up of water. We're like antenna. We conduct energy, etc. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then tell everybody to bring more people. This way, their $500 investment or whatever it is, or $200 investment acts like $1,000 investment instead of $200. You understand? So to me, it makes perfect sense. But I had not asked that question to Dr. Sandra, I would have never known the answer to that. So I've been known to be a little bit of an asshole. I ask a lot of questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, listen, it's been nice having you. I'm going to hold you over a little bit. You have any specials that are going on right now that the audience may need to know, etc.?
Yes. So I don't know if you got a chance to read my little thing that I had emailed. So a couple of things are happening in the month of October right now. So on the 21st of October, which is a Saturday, we literally shut down all of our day sessions, and we're showing the Antidote movie, which I'm sure you've seen, Mel, and we're showing it 3 different times. It's a 3-hour time block in our EE system room, which has 40 units. It's only $55, and just the value of it at $60 an hour, it would be $180 just for the EE system. But we're showing the movie, popcorn, drinks, and the whole bit, because we feel that this movie is so important for everyone to hear and see. That same night, the night of the 21st, is when we have our pets overnight session where pets attend for free. And then I did want to say something that nobody knows yet. So I'm actually airing this, for the first time. So your listeners will be the first to know. We just had an event with Clint over the weekend. He's the founder of earthing.com. Mm-hmm. He is the gentleman that is affectionately known as the father of grounding. He created that documentary that, a lot of people have seen. He was just here. We had a lovely, lovely event. And we were able to put together a special package of grounding products that's worth close to $250. But we're going to be selling it for $158.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's about $100 discount. It's the grounding pillowcase. It's the grounding patch kit where you put the patches on and you put directly on your pain spot or your hands. It includes the grounding tester, so you can see if a certain surface is a grounding surface or not. And it includes a book that it's a new book, not the earthing.com book that Clint wrote, but it's a new book that he wrote the foreword for, called I think it's, oh gosh, I should have written it down. But anyway, it's Short Stories of Healing from Olivia Smith and another author. So at any rate, I just wanted to so this is the first time I'm announcing this. Our members don't even know. And then the second thing I wanted to mention was we would like to, and this is what I put in, the email to you. So we would like to give all of your listeners who live locally a discount, and it's Mel Carmine 40. Okay. So using that discount code, they will get 40% off, and they can try either a night session, day session, or a remote session.
Awesome. That's great. Now, I wanted to ask you another question. When you decided to start the business, was your husband fully on board, or was he sort of like standoffish? I'm curious.
He was on board when I started this as a partnership with a friend of mine. And so the funds, because this is not an inexpensive venture, as you know, the funds were going to be coming from two sources. And we were okay with that initially. And we almost didn't do it because when my partner dropped out, we thought, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Mm-hmm. And we actually told the landlord who we were going to sign the lease with, and he's the one that encouraged us to say, Helen, you have to do this. We need this, And so then, we took a huge leap of faith. But I know that, humanity needs to heal without harm is the bottom line, and we're in the right space.
Absolutely. So, how many chairs do you have?
We have 22 chairs.
Okay, good. That's a decent size operation. And that's comfortable, or they like squeezed together? I got them sort of like squeezed together.
It's very spacious. We made a significant investment in our chairs. So we have zero gravity reclining, electric recliners.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we were talking earlier before we went live, about my loans and stuff. That's one of my loans. So that was a significant investment, but it's worth it for the comfort.
But it's funny that we are also moving in the same direction, having a movie night.
Yes. Yes.
And I have so many prominent women, very well-to-do, I'm talking, they got a couple of these, right? Mm-hmm. And I got all these single successful women. Amber's like, we should start a singles night.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Why not?
So it's about healing, but it's also about bringing the community together. It really is.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I had a wonderful time with this interview. Hopefully you'll come back and tell us more success stories down the road. I'm sure you're going to be very successful, and you should definitely, like I said, think about doing podcasts, to start a local podcasting community with the local business owners, interview each other, and also the EE Center owners should start podcasts and start interviewing each other at least 2-3 times a week. This way we can cross-pollinate. I think that's a very good idea. Anything I could do to help the cause, because to me, being able to take down the medical industry was sexy. That's the reason why I got into it. I'm a warrior at heart, and I said, okay, this is a good war to fight. I could get into this. So it was a pleasure having you on. Please consider coming back, and we'll catch you in the next one. I'm going to hold you back for a little bit. I'm going to ask you some other questions that we may hold back for the next time. All right. Thank you, guys. If you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, make sure you sprinkle it out there. We got a medical industry to take down. Thank you.